Okay, my name is Kelly Steinhauer. Today I will be talking about the film Bunraku. Um, I don't know. I liked it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't awesome. I might watch it again sometime in my life, but I don't know, it wasn't a film that I'm like, oh my gosh, all of my friends have to see this. I agree with the critics that it was a little bit too artistic for its own good. There was like just so much going on all the time. Like with all the narration and all the fight scenes and then like the extra like puppetry but also like animation in it. It just it just seemed like a lot. There was a lot to there's a lot to take in. Yeah. So, I did notice a lot of different types of things, primarily like combat type things, like we saw in like the Maori dancing and stuff, where they almost act out fighting, but they're not fighting. It's almost like a way to show their strength and like a way to um, like kind of build themselves up a little bit and kind of show like the people around them like, look, I can fight and this is what I'm good at and this is, I can protect us and I can serve us and stuff like that. And also like all the puppetry stuff was super interesting. We've looked at a lot of different types of puppetry. And it seems that it mostly stems from like Asian cultures, which is really interesting. They're always really intricate, as were puppets in this film. I mean, obviously it's a movie, so they have like a big movie budget to make these intricate puppets and stuff, but it was still really interesting to see how intricate the puppets were and how like people could like their whole bodies could use them. I know that like in the very beginning when it's like kind of setting up the story there, it starts at like a smaller focal point, and then moves to like a larger scene, which is something that we've seen a lot of, like not just using like people puppets, but like animals and scenery, and using um, like actual physical people to control more than just like puppets on sticks. And I did enjoy that part. I thought that it was really creative. There's not a lot of films like that. Obviously, this is the first film that I've seen where it's both acting and puppetry in one film. Um, so that was interesting. And also, it's like the basic form of storytelling that most people think of when you talk about storytelling is just orally stating what the story is. So that was really interesting. As for cultural appropriation, I didn't really feel like there was a lot of cultural appropriation. I'm usually like a pretty big stickler about that just because I think it is so important and it's been looked over for so long. Um, and I don't know, I felt like they did a good job of not being terrible about it. It I don't know, I didn't even really feel like there was a lot of cultural appropriation. I feel like um it was mostly its own thing. Like it I don't know. I think since it was a little bit of everything, it was completely a different thing. It's not like, they were doing something and then saying like, "Oh yeah, this is our thing. Like this is something that we made up," and I think that that's really the problem with cultural appropriation, is that it's people taking something and saying like, "Oh, this is ours now," and like this is, I made this up. So, yeah, I think that there's a big difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation, and I think that this really was more about cultural appreciation and about using the, the parts of other people's culture that you find interesting to make into something completely different and something unique. So yeah, altogether, I think that I liked the film. It wasn't, it wasn't my number one most highly rated film, but it was good and I enjoyed it. So yep, that's it.